What is going on, guys? This is the Poke Tea Time Podcast, where we serve you up a cup of the hottest takes of what's going on in the Pokemon community. This evening, we have NostalgicThrill. What is going on, man?
What's poppin'? We're just big chilling in California. I'm in SoCal right now, just having a good time, you know?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It legit looks like you're out in Hawaii.
Oh, yeah, we got the Hawaiian shirt with the Slowpokes on it, my favorite Pokemon, and we're just vibing. Always a good time in Cali. The sun's right,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think people are in here. We're live.
We
We're
are
live.
live. Thank you for having me here, Shivam. Hey,
No, thank you. Thank you for coming in, you've been asked you asked like way back, when can I be on the podcast, and I told you you'd be on the podcast like back when we were in Vegas. Like, no, well, I asked you. I was like, "Hey, you're going to be on the podcast very, very soon." And then it just kind of went by, and you kind of reminded me a few days ago. And I was like, "Oh, let's go ahead and have you on the podcast." So then it just kind of worked out fantastically. I think you're the best person for this particular topic this evening. So the topic this evening is being a Pokemon content creator, the good, the bad, the ugly that goes along with it, being different in this space, because that's very difficult to do. But before we get right into it, I want to tell everyone to make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Poke Tea Time podcast. We are also a podcast on Spotify as well as Apple Podcasts. And if you're listening to us on there, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. But yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. Thrill, tell us who you are right now. Who is NostalgicThrill? How'd you come into this space? And where does a lot of that passion come from?
NostalgicThrill is just that dude. I know it's very vague, but ever since I was young, I just saw myself in the entertainment industry somehow. I have passion in art and music, and I just always wanted to entertain people. I just saw that for myself, and I kind of built my brand as NostalgicThrill within the Pokemon community, and now I just see myself as a guy who comes on the internet and try to make people laugh and have a good time with this hobby. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's NostalgicThrill.
Yeah, that's a really good way to kind of describe yourself. How did you come into this space? Excuse me, I burped. How did you come into this space? What was it that drew you to this space in terms of being able to produce content in this space? Tell us a little bit more about your background prior to making Pokemon content, and where did that sort of thought, that foresight come through when it came to that change, that transition into saying like, hey, I want to make Pokemon content too.
Yeah, most definitely. I kind of always been a closeted collector. I never really stopped. Ever since I was a kid, I just remember watching the cartoons and collecting the cards, and I never really quit holding on to my favorite cards. And when I started making my own money, like in my adulthood, I started buying cards and building a collection. So I just was never really public about it because I was pursuing a career in music. That's not really at that time. Now it's cool to be a nerd. At that time it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't the coolest thing. So I was, recording my. I never really released it. I was recording my album, and I was on tour right before COVID. So I was touring around, city to city, and COVID happened. I kind of put a pause on my music and trying to make it in the music industry. Obviously I had my social medias like Instagram, TikTok, and that's kind of where I learned how to kind of market myself, but I never really applied it to anything else other than music. So when COVID came around, I started my Pokemon page, which is just to show off my collection,
right?
But I revealed my face one day on that account, and it kind of just got traction, and I said maybe there's something here. I started doing lives and started using the same tactics I would use to market my music in the Pokemon community, and yeah, that's how it all pretty much started. COVID happened, and I showed my face, and you never really seen like, a nerd collector that looks like this. So that's kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
how it all got started. Yeah,
I mean, like, I don't think you really fit the mold of that, typical Pokemon card collector, like,
yeah,
it's kind of like Post Malone. Post Malone loves Magic the Gathering. It's kind of like,
yeah.
a lot of people who are in music now are now showing their love for Pokemon. You have like the rapper Fat Nick who loves Pokemon.
Mm.
You have people like what's his face? Crap, I'm blanking out. You have Justin Bieber, you have Ariana Grande, you
Yeah.
have who was it? Who was it in Houston? He was there. Craig Zen.
Mm.
He was there too. So like you don't really expect like people who are in the music industry or people who are producing music to be involved in similar things that like normal people, average people like ourselves are in. So, it's really cool that, once you showed yourself, you saw more traction. What was it that caused you to say, like, what was it that made you say, like, hey, I want to show myself to people on this platform?
I mean, I was a little hesitant at first because, like, known, like, deep inside, I grew up on, like, nerd and pop culture. I always kind of wanted to be, like, accepted in a community that liked the same things that I did.
Yeah.
At first, it was like Star Wars. Star Wars is my baby, alongside Pokemon. But I never really had a community or a group of people that shared that interest with me. Um, but I don't know. I'm full of myself. That's that's the real answer. So I couldn't hold back. Like I said, I was kind of hesitant on showing myself because maybe I'm not accepted because of the way I looked, or I'm not, I don't look like your typical collector, or somebody that would be in this community. But I'm full of myself. I do love myself very much, and
That's good.
I just showed my face holding a few booster boxes, and it got like at that time the most likes on my Pokemon Instagram. So yeah, that was the main reason why I revealed the face.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know that you just hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. Congratulations.
Yay.
Around everyone, party emoji, a round of applause emoji, rocket ships emoji, you name it, in the chat right now. That was pretty cool. That's pretty cool how fast your page has definitely grown, and I think that comes from the fact that you're definitely different. I think there is something special about being different in the Pokemon community that I think is such a huge thing to have, and it's a huge asset to have, and so it's why you got to where you are. So
Yeah.
my next question to you is, you are in that West Coast area. You are, involved with a lot of different people. There's a lot of collaborations happening in that particular area. There's a lot of content creators in that area. It's not just Pokemon content creators in that area. Where do you see yourself essentially? Where would you like to see yourself as far as content goes, as far as, sales go, whatever it might be? Where do you see yourself, or what's something that you'd like to accomplish within this space? Because at the end of the day, I think every individual has something to bring to the table that is Pokemon, and you have that as well. And so, like, everyone has different dreams. Everyone has different sort of milestones that they like to accomplish. What's that for you?
I mean, I'm hoping to build my name up enough to where maybe certain companies like I have that I have my eye on, like G4 or IGN. I mean, so, like I always saw myself, like I said, entertaining the people, however it is. Like, who
Absolutely.
knows? Like, yeah, I mean, I talk about it with my friends all the time. What is the end goal? And I always tell them, who knows? We might have our own little segment on G4 or IGN, or just something that, because I love doing this. I didn't know how much I love doing it until I did it publicly and met all these cool people, and now I know this is like what I want to do. Like, music is still my love, and I'll always do music whether I'm pursuing it as like a career or not. But I just want to stay in this realm. The love that I got in this community is something else, and I just want
Yeah.
to keep on chasing that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's you are an entertainer, and you like being able to make people feel things, whether it's laughter, whether it's joy, something. You're an entertainer. So
Hmm.
I totally understand that. I'm kind of similar in that same boat. Um, I have different goals, but like 100%, I fully agree with that. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool to hear. Um, it's like this thing where it's just like you like entertaining people, and whatever doors open, whatever opportunities present itself, you kind of take it. So like that's really cool to hear.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, if it's me, like, interviewing somebody at the next San Diego Comic Con or something, like, I don't care. That's, yeah, you're
Hey,
absolutely right.
honestly, I think you're natural. Like just to give you guys like a brief, quick story. Um, we were in Orlando Collecticon, and it was really early that morning. We had the first panel that we had was essentially Jason Page and Gary King Pokemon, and you came up right on stage and you were a natural. Like you know how to like how to conduct yourself. And even during the what's it called, the cosplay contest, you
That was
conducted
fun.
yourself fantastic too. That was really fun. So you, like I said before, you are a tried and true born entertainer, and so I think that's
Oh
that's
man,
really sick. And I mean, like,
thank you. I appreciate it.
I could totally see you being up there, conducting whatever you might want to conduct at a San Diego Comic Con or whatever convention there is. I mean, we're at shows almost once every single month, twice a month now.
We're
We're
already
we're
doing it.
yeah, we're in convention season now. It's full swing, and so it's really really cool to see people like yourself and seeing that growth and seeing that kind of trajectory, especially in this space, because Pokemon is great. There's a lot of things that Pokemon has to offer, but I think people at the end of the day shouldn't be really confined to one thing. And I think I
Yeah,
think you don't
I
really.
agree.
I think you're not really confined just to Pokemon. Like, you have music, you have art, you do all these different things that you do, which makes Nostalgic Thrill. Um,
Yeah.
but to kind
No,
of
you're
get
absolutely
into
right.
yeah, yeah. But to kind of get into like the meat of this podcast, um, the premise of this podcast is being being a content creator in Pokemon, being a Pokemon content creator. That's the type of content that you and I predominantly produce, and I don't really consume too much Pokemon content, but I think it's safe to say that we spend a lot of our time, being this sort of influencer slash content creator. So question number one is, do you see yourself either a Pokemon influencer, or do you see yourself as a Pokemon content creator? Do you see yourself as both?
Um, I would say, yeah, like a hybrid of both. I mean, because I've seen, like I said, I spent a lot of time on, building up some of my other social medias while I was pursuing music. So TikTok, I was heavily trying to, gain traction on there. So whatever I learned during that time, I'm applying it to what I'm doing now in Pokemon. So it's natural for me to pick up my camera and create, like, the reels that I've done with you, or like the ones that I've done with Sarah, or just making funny stuff. So that comes easily to me. But where, as far as like the influencer side, I seen that when I partner up with some upcoming TCGs, and kind of, it like set the market value sometimes, where they're not released yet and they don't really have like a price, on them. So
Right.
I mean, in that case, I mean, I'm a little bit more towards the content creating side. I will say a lot of, if my reels don't do well, or if my Instagram's not doing well, then the sales are gonna kind of go down. So it kind of goes hand in
Yeah.
hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I could see myself in the future kind of, you know, leaning more towards like the influencer side. I guess it all depends on how my supporters like perceive me,
I
and
think I think I think for most people to kind of be successful in this particular space, you kind of have to really be both, right? Like, you have to be
yeah.
informative, you have to be funny, you have to um show every side of what is successful, cuz like it's not like like with today's content creators that are trying to come into this space, that are emerging in this space, it's not like, your Super Uber Danny or Leonhard or Unlisted Leaf, where
Hmm.
they are the forefronts of the hobby in terms of
Yeah.
content, and they stuck with what they were doing, so that's where they're in the position where they're currently at now. Whereas like a lot of us kind of have to do various sorts of things to kind of get ourselves in that sort of position, right? Whether it's sales, whether it's collaborations, whether
Yeah.
it's making TikTok, like making content across various platforms, whether it's like what like, it can be all sorts of things. Like there's so much that goes into it now to kind of
Yeah.
compete. I wouldn't say compete, because like I think at the end of the day, like it's so much better to collaborate versus compete. But like some people feel like they're competing, and some people don't feel like they're competing at all, and some people,
Yeah.
collaborate. It's just like I think we're in that space now where it really requires us to kind of just do everything and anything to kind of put us on that same pedestal as these amazing people.
Most definitely, and I'm a huge fan of, was watching Leon Hart and Pookie Rev
Same, yeah,
videos early on, and you're right. They're the ones that kind of paved the way for people like you and I. But I will say the game has changed, most definitely.
it has.
Um, yeah, during the time COVID happened and the popularity of Pokemon rising, it kind of nudged this community up against like just regular pop culture,
Yeah,
and that's why we're able to kind of utilize the same tactics that you would, like a regular TikToker, would use, or Instagrammer. So you didn't really see that kind of marketing before, and it's a good thing because it creates a lane for someone different like me. So
yeah,
it's yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, like
yeah,
I like you kind of have to be different, right? Like if you come into any particular space where you're kind of imitating anyone, like if you come into this space doing exactly what Leonhardt does, or exactly what Super Duper Danny does, like it's awesome, it's great, it's fantastic. If that's what you want to do, that's
yeah.
pretty great. However,
hmm
you're going to be compared to them, and I don't think anyone likes being compared to anyone, for that matter.
Nope.
For me,
Especially
I
not
can't.
me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're definitely different. No, I mean,
Oh, there's
like
only
it's the
one
same.
thrill.
Yeah, it's the same thing for me too. Like I came into this space, and I from the jump I wanted to do something different. I showed people different things, and I'm content with how I went about things. Um, but it's really cool to see what you've done, because what you do as far as reels go, I don't think anyone else is doing. Like you take storytelling in this more you take storytelling in a very comedic fashion. And like when I watch your reels, it's like, how does this guy come up with this stuff on the fly? I've seen, like, sometimes I'm part of that process with you, where it's like, Shiv, could you do this for me? Or hey, could you record this for me? It's like, it's very, very different, but it's like, it's this like chess level type of thinking, where it's like this guy knows exactly what he's trying to do as far as content goes, and he knows exactly how to shoot it. He knows how to create, basically make this sort of environment around what you record, and then it spreads like wildfire.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And not a problem. I
And
mean, like that's the truth, though.
yeah, and I appreciate that. I mean, in a space where a lot of opinions like butt heads with each other, I kind of want to take even though, I look edgy and all that stuff, I want to take a light approach. Like, I mean, one thing we all have in common is love and humor. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So, like, for instance, the whole scandal with Logan Paul and the box and the Island Boys and all that. There was a lot of people that was under fire because of certain opinions, and including yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the way that I involved myself into that scandal was very light, very humorous, and all I did was dressed up as an island boy and pretended that I was in the live with them. So, I just want to do it in a way where, I'm not gonna get, you know, ripped apart, and
Yeah.
we all have a good time, regardless of what side you're on.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's
No,
kind of
like,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, like, I'm a little bit more divisive and reactionary. You're more like this. People call you the cuddly teddy bear, right? Like, you look edgy on the outside, but that's what you are.
yeah,
Like people have a lot of misconceptions, probably about you when they see you. I think that's the case for everyone. People judge people
yeah,
by the cover of the book itself before actually getting to know people. And I mean, like, if people actually sit down with Thrill and actually talk to him, you understand, why he is the way he is, why he likes making people laugh. And I think Vegas, Tampa in December, and Orlando and Dallas as well. Dallas for Leonhardt's pop-up shop kind of gave me a lot more insight to who you are as an individual, more than any other event prior to that. And I'm glad to have sat down and talked to you at that kind of level. I've built a lot of respect for you and what you do. Tell me what's next. What's something that you're currently working on that you feel like is next level? If you can, if you want to give someone like people like a tidbit of information, give people a tidbit of an idea.
I've been dabbling in my art a lot. Like my Whatnot Lives, I've been streaming a lot of my art. So we just been releasing, very limited pieces that I've been doing, and I've been building up, support through that. But me, I'm kind of the guy that does everything. So, I'm looking forward to all the conventions, the Collecticon tour, and meeting my supporters, and just having a good time with all the other people in the space. Beyond like my art and Collecticon, I really, really do want to. I know we talked about this a lot throughout the podcast, but I really want to go back into my music and finally release some stuff, because, if I found all these people that would support me through my art and through my Pokemon journey, then maybe I could take another crack at the music. So
yeah, you don't have to stop one thing or the other. At the end of the day, a passion is still a passion. So I think people will connect to you in multiple ways more than one. And so like, even if it's music, they'll say like, oh, this is why he said this in this particular lyric or this particular bar. And I think people will definitely appreciate that. This is a side, we're going to go off track for a second, because people in the chat are asking this. Where's your chain, dog? Where's that McDonald's Slowpoke chain? Where's it at?
Well, the last time I had it on this chain was I put it around Going Twice, Travis from Going Twice, during his live, and
don't tell me he stole it.
Since. No, he didn't steal it. I still have it here. It's just, we should have it on, but it came off, and he was messing around with my chain. So, again, we had a crazy week down here in LA. Whatnot, Break the Bank events, and the card show in San Diego. So we just. Yeah, it's just been around my neck a lot, and some of the other guys are playing with it, so that's why it's not here.
Hey, Super Duper Danny. Hey, Barbara Blah. Hey, Alex Green. Steve S. Tap Lab is in the house. Kid Amori's in the house. Like we got a lot of people in here. I hope everyone's having a good Tuesday evening. So people say the club's going up on a Tuesday, but the Poke Tea Time podcast is going up on a Tuesday. So I'd rather watch that versus going to a club on a Tuesday. But
for sure.
One person asked, how did you decide to commit to having face tats?
A lot of people ask that about me, and my day one supporters will know. When I was pursuing music, it wasn't that lucrative. I was sponsored and signed to a label, but I didn't really get that much money from it. So how I made my money was as a tattoo artist. And a lot of people do not know that I actually did this to my own face.
You did that to your own face?
Yes, I did this with my own face.
Are you ambidextrous?
I am to an extent. I write and draw with my left hand. But if I ever need to defend myself, it's gonna be with the right. Okay. Yeah, that's actually really cool, because like for me, I couldn't do that to my I feel like I would mess up. Like let's say what would happen if you like sneezed, it's pollen season. It's pollen season over here, man. Like I'm not allergic to pollen, but like that's actually kind of crazy. It's wild.
But like I think it does. It attests to who you are as an individual. You like standing out. You like being that outlier, and I think that's truly important for every person. And again, that's a form of expression. So like whether it's your art, your music, your face tats, down to your reels, you're expressing yourself in every sort of capacity you possibly can. You're a rocket with the thrusters literally all the way up at 110%. So
sure.
that's actually pretty cool. But I kind of want to talk about the struggles of being a content creator. What are some of the struggles that you faced in music? What are some of the struggles that you currently face as a content creator now? Because like I know at times some people do have issues with what you're probably producing. Check chat, Shivam LOL, clearly not a whatnot streamer. For those guys who do not know, when it comes to the Poke Tea Time podcast, if it's like a solo thing, I read the chat. But when I have a guest on here, I want to be able to give them all the attention that I have and try my best to read some of the comments in the comment section. So like if there is certain questions, but you'd like to ask, then I'll definitely ask. Just sometimes some of the questions will be asked towards the end. So definitely definitely please be patient. And but one person's here asking, ask Thrill about your Star Wars collection. Do you own a $30,000 Boba Fett figure? Were you that guy that bought it?
Next question.
Were you that guy that bought it?
Who asked that?
This guy
question.
said you've been in Toa concert.
Next question.
You've been into a concert.
I do have a response to that question. I love Star Wars. A lot. I love Star Wars a lot.
You also like Stan Lee.
I love Stan Lee. Yes, I love Marvel. I love Star Wars. I late Stan Lee. I love Pokemon. Yeah, a lot of things. Ninja Turtles.
I'll have like a small story about the whole Stan Lee thing late in a few, but I'll tell it later. But yeah, like just to kind of go back to the question, what are some of the struggles that you faced in music that you sometimes face in Pokemon?
In music, I felt like I don't really hang out with the crowd that I did when I was doing music. I had a lot of people around me, which and I think it's just like it's social media as well too. You have a lot of people that like you kind of confuse yourself and believe that they are like real friends and stuff like that. I had a lot of people that just weren't like genuinely there for me during the music. As soon as I stopped going to the concerts and being invited to party with celebrities and stuff like that, those are the people that are around when I was popping, and kind of when it starts to die out, they aren't around anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm starting to, in like the Pokemon and community, I see people trickle in and they phase out. I'll have like a number one fan for like 2 weeks, and then they go, and I get heartbroken. So like I'm trying to work on that and not get confused and not mix up the two worlds. I mean, even though I do got love for all my supporters, like genuine love for all my supporters, I get let down easily, and I'm trying to train. You're invested
invested into them. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And there'll be days where I'm like, hey, where's like I used to see this person like in all my comments and all my lives all the time, and and then they're not there anymore, and I get sad. I get sad, and I think that's something that a lot of content creator struggle with, just separating what's real life and what's internet. But I sometimes I guess it's something you can't control. I mean, I don't see it as a bad thing that I have love for my supporters.
Right.
But it might be bad for my mental if I invest like 150, 200%. You know what I mean?
Right,
maybe I gotta dial it down a little bit.
How do you struggle hate? Because I feel like every content creator gets some level of hate. And I'm asking this because I could definitely learn from this. So that's what I'm asking. So like I know
I got you.
yeah. Like so like I'm sure you probably experience hate with music because obviously music is one of the most competitive spaces out there in the world. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's a lot more critiques there in that space versus like, Pokemon. So, how do you handle hate? What is your way of coping? What is it that makes you say like, hey, I'm going to move past this immediately?
Yeah. Crazy fact. I actually, I never really dealt with like true hate until Pokemon.
Really?
My music was okay. Yeah. I was always supported and all that stuff. And sometimes I'll get like a Post Malone joke or something like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those Pokemon is when I actually dealt with like some real, like, like death threats and that kind of stuff. At first, it really did bother me because I'm like, I'm a Capricorn. I'm pretty sensitive. And I think I've given you advice, like randomly in the DMs and stuff like that about,
Yeah.
dealing with hate. At first, it really did get to me, and it would ruin my whole day. I'll be off for the whole day or for the next 2 days. But the one way that I deal with it now is liking that comment and thinking of like the nicest response, like I love you or so, or like,
Dang.
or like I agree. You're a scumbag, Thrill. I agree. Scumbag #scumbag nation.
I don't know how you do that. That to me, it's like, man, I want to type up I got bullied in school. I was very, very, I think most, if not everyone, gets bullied in school. But I was that, small, short kid. I didn't hit my growth spurt until like my senior year of high school. I was underweight all of high school. I graduated high school weighing 95 pounds. So I was extremely underweight. And so like, I was bullied, in middle school a lot. And, at that point, I was very quiet at the time. I just kind of let it happen. And then, you learn to stand up for yourself. And social media is like this weird place where you can't even do that. Like, it's taboo to react to the negative. And so that's something that I'm still like, I've always been working on it. It's a lot better now. Versus what it was like, let's say a year ago or what it was 2 years ago, where it's like I'd be in my stories, typing up a storm and making videos of that capacity. So like that's something I'm always learning, and that's really impressive that you're able to combat that negativity with immediate kindness, and that's something that you kind of have to learn, and that's a very difficult skill to learn.
Well, everybody has
kudos.
like their own ways, and like I'm a firm believer of defending yourself and sticking up for yourself,
Mm-hmm.
And I think we just have to ask ourselves when we are in a situation like that, how am I going to stick up for myself? And like, because like I mentioned, I was bullied a lot when I was younger as well. I was really obese as a kid, and I was picked on a lot. And around middle school and high school, I kind of grew out of my thickness, and I won homecoming, and I got pretty popular in school and that kind of stuff. So like my retaliation or my revenge is like the glow up. So just keep because I mean we all want to, like me personally, I want to spread positivity. So I need to practice that in my everyday, whether it's social media or in real life. And I think the biggest, because a hater will always be a hater if you have no control over other people. I think the biggest revenge in my eyes is the glow up. If I'm popping off 10 years from now and I'm happy and and successful, I think that's the biggest retaliation.
Yeah, no, I mean that I never stopped to really even consider that, because that's something that I considered when I started working out in the gym. That's something that I was like, oh, okay, now I'm in the gym, I'm now a little bit more in shape. That's my retaliation. So thank you for telling me that, because I think that's something that I needed to hear, because it's more okay, my retaliation is hey, just put out that positive energy that you're currently doing. And if I pop off, then they're gonna regret it. I'm gonna be happy. They're gonna regret it. But so far my mechanic right now has been if I see negativity, I just block it. And that's something that I've had people tell me to do, and that's something that I'm currently practicing, because what I was doing before it didn't work. And then, I work on a little bit more, and then it's okay, that might not work entirely at all. So I'm doing what works for other people and seeing how that works. So at the end of the day, I think people, I think people are constantly, I think people change. And I think that's tried and true. But how I handle hate has definitely not been the best. Granted, I feel like in some cases I was okay, in the way that I handled it, but I'm gonna start doing what you said. I think that's the best way to go about it. I'll make sure I write it down and make sure it's a daily kind of mantra that I have. So thank you for not only telling me that, thank you for telling our users that, because I'm sure that's gonna help people.
Most definitely. As long as I think no matter how you handle it, as long as you don't give them ammo at the end, you know what I mean? And a response could definitely be an ammo.
Any response. You could say a comment that like
Yeah.
you giving a millimeter or even you just giving a millimeter of rope, people will take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So like
Put
that's something
it
that
this
I've
way.
learned. Yeah.
Yeah, put it this way: the way that I, map out my narratives in my storytelling. If I could take a 5-second film and turn it into a whole movie, like imagine what people can do with your responses and your
Mm-hmm.
if they already have an idea of you, they're probably gonna keep on thinking that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So don't give them ammo. Our journey, there's a bigger picture to this. Our journey is at the end goal where we're gonna be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And whether it's successful or whether it's being happy, that's the biggest. Like I said, clap back right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't
100%.
care what you think. I'm in a Lambo.
This
You know
guy
what I
was
mean?
taking this guy had a photo shoot with the Lambo today.
Yeah, that's the official Lambo that they're giving away to
Yeah.
one lucky person.
Yeah.
The Whatnot Lambo.
Not sponsored by Whatnot. Hopefully, maybe soon. We don't know when. But yeah, no, that's always really cool to hear how you do combat that. Do you feel like the success of a lot of these bigger Pokemon content creators does that weigh on you ever, or are you so busy that you're so focused and so driven and so motivated with the type of content that you're doing or whatever mindset that you're going into that never even comes in your path, that never even reaches your mindset? Is that what it is?
Yes, that is what it is. I mean,
Same.
I just care about like everybody's like journey and I wish success upon everybody. I really
Yeah.
don't really, you know, if I see somebody else coming up, I see it as an opportunity to like, hey, if I know that person, maybe we can collab and maybe it'll trickle down to me. You know what I mean? Like I would
Yeah.
never hate on the next man because I have my own stuff I got to worry about, even like outside of Pokemon. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I really don't have the space to kind of look at another man's success
100%.
or another
It's
person's success. Yeah.
Pokemon is just so big that literally everyone can eat. Everyone can eat.
Exactly.
And I feel like a lot of people get so caught up in what other like I feel like there's a lot of people that see success and they let it get to them where it's like, hey, I'm kind of doing X, Y, and Z. Why is that not happening to me yet? What am I doing that's
Yeah.
wrong? And so like for a lot of people out there, people don't really understand or see the fact that content creators take numerous amounts of L's when it comes to content. Like
Mhm.
from our own perspective, like we know how well something should perform and we know we know when something's completely off, right?
Yeah.
And so like it's like, dang, this is not performing the way I want it to, or like, man, this got shadow banned, or like I feel like I'm shadow banned, like X, Y, and Z. And so like,
Yeah.
what do you say to people that are feeling frustrated because they're not experiencing growth across whatever platform that they're on?
I feel
Do you
like
think that they should change, or do you think they should just like, if they're doing the same thing, do you feel like they should like continue doing it for an X amount of time, and if it doesn't work, then kind of, try and change something up?
Part of it is like by chance, and another part of it is by staying consistent. I mean,
Yeah.
it really, you shouldn't really care about that kind of stuff. Just do what you like, and I feel like no matter what it is, there's so many people out there in the world. You'll find your little community or your little,
Mm-hmm.
pocket of support. And who knows, it might pop up because there's some things that I think go viral that I'm like, how?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So part of it is by chance, and part of it is by staying consistent, and
Mm-hmm.
it might not work for everybody, and you kind of gotta accept that. Yeah. I mean, like me, I'm not doing what I think like people will like as much as I would love for it to be liked, because I'm just that kind of guy. I love attention. I'm still gonna put it out if it's like worthy in my eyes and if I enjoy it. If I could
100%.
rewatch it over and over and over again, then maybe somebody out there feels the same exact way. Luckily, like it's it's going okay.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, like, I think what you're alluding to is the word called passion, right? Like, you're just doing
Yes.
you're just doing what you love. You're essentially doing what you genuinely love. You're doing what you have passion about. Because like, I'm similar in that sense. Like, I don't like doing things that I just don't like doing. Like, if I don't like doing X, Y, and Z, then I just won't do it. I might give it a chance, like, a couple of times, but like, it's not something that I see myself doing on a consistent manner. So like, you're really just showcasing and just doing what you already like doing already. And if it works out, it works out. If not, it doesn't work out. But it's all about having that level of consistency, and then just constantly, kind of being like a fan service to your community. Like, there's people that already follow you for that specific content. So why stop it? Like, why break the wheel when the wheels are already working? And that momentum will carry itself. I think that like, passion is a big thing. I think that's something that like I myself have had this discussion with the past like 4 or 5 guests, or past 4 or 5 episodes of the podcast. Like, people kind of forget about passion. Yeah, sure. Money's going to be involved in every aspect of the hobby, and if that's what you want to focus on, 100%. But like, if you want to stay in this space, you kind of have to have passion, and you have to be hungry, you have to be driven, you have to have a vision. Granted, things might not go along the way you want to as far as that vision goes, but it's all about keeping an open mind and letting those good things come your way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just keep on, doing you. Really don't change up for anybody,
Right.
Like I said, I mean, I could have tried to be the next Leonhardt, or because I grew up like watching these guys and huge fan of them, but I just knew that wasn't me. I feel like it would be forced if I try to get into this realm, trying to be who they are. So I just brought my flavor. Everybody just bring your own flavor and keep consistent, and don't worry about the views. I have plenty of videos on my page that has like nothing. So
yeah. How do you cope with burnout?
With what was that?
Burnout.
Burnout?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Explain. Like, you feel like you feel uninterested in what you're currently doing. Like, you feel uninspired. Like, how do you
live life? Life is full of inspiration. I mean, whether it's painting or making music or even collecting. Like, I mean, like I've gotten a large abundance of followers from like Hawaii recently, and that kind of makes me want to maybe either make content or start collecting Southern Islands again. You know what I mean? You just got to live life. You can't. The internet is not everything. As much as like I interact with people on the internet, like just being here watching these palm trees, I want to go swimming, and maybe I might write a song about water or something. Just live life.
Kang, if you're listening to this, clip that. That was a goated response. Dude, that was a goated response. 100%. That's making it on Instagram. 100%. That was a goated response. Yeah, I mean, live life. There's just so much to appreciate out there, to draw inspiration from. Like, for me, like, I live out in the boonies, right? Like, for me, it could be just me simply going to the gym and kind of coping with that kind of burnout that day. It might just be me taking a nap, It might be just me going through the bulk that I have, or just me watching TV. Like, there's so many ways to draw inspiration from, where it's like, like, I wonder if I could tweak this and make this my own thing. How, like, what can I do to make this mine? Put my stamp on it. Because a lot of people have content, and again, like, some people forge their own paths, and that's awesome. Some people can do that by drawing inspiration from numerous amounts of things, and I just think that's really cool. That was a really, really solid response.
Live life. You know how I rock.
Like, you just looked at the camera and you're like, just live life.
Yes, I mean, we spent enough time around each other whether it's at the conventions, working, and partnering up with certain companies and just work and grinding. You know what I mean? But we've also spent time with each other outside of the cons, like right after the event is over.
100%.
I'm trying to turn up. I'm trying to have a good time. Sorry for the plane. And I'm trying to interact with people and get to know people on a personal level, and just create good moments and good times. I mean, a lot of these cons, yes, we do grind and we work and we make content, but behind the scenes, oh man, like I've taken henny shots with like Pokerev, and like I've jumped into a pool with Sarah Natochenny. I sang what is it, throat, like whatever music with Jason Page. Like, live life. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like, people ask me like, what happens at conventions, right? And I tell people like the convention doesn't stop, after 5. The convention's still happening when you leave the venue. Like, it happens at the hotel,
Yes.
it happens at dinner, it happens at wherever we're at, wherever venue we're at. The convention is still happening because like the people that you're around are around you at all times, whether it's dinner, whether it's just you chilling in the hotel lobby. Like, those are all things that people kind of just sleep on. And based off that answer right there, when it comes to conventions, I highly recommend everyone to go to a convention. We have a few conventions coming up. We have Collecticon coming up at the end of May in Dallas, and right after that, we have the Collecticon in Charlotte, North Carolina. And then after that, we have the Miami TCG convention in Miami, Florida, which is 3 events that you and I will be available at back to back to back.
Yeah.
It's there's a reason why a lot of us go to these conventions. For those of you guys who do not go, again, I highly suggest going, because like I think it's an experience that people in every hobby should experience. It's not just, it's not all this like crazy events that are happening. There's a lot that goes into it. There's deals that take place. There's a lot of money that takes place. Like, there's so many ways to draw inspiration from at these events, and I think I like to say that the real community, the real Pokemon community, the real hobby, the card collecting hobby, is at these conventions. I think that's where it's at. Like, a lot of social media tends to like muddy the water a little bit. It creates this sort of like right from the jump there. It's like designed to create this sort of negative experience for people, and that's what gets clicks. That's what gets views. Unfortunately, but going to these shows, they, I think that's where the real love is. Getting to meet people, sitting down with them, breaking bread, eating with them, talking to them on like a real level. I think that's super duper important. I think it's such an underrated aspect of the hobby that people miss out on.
A lot of people don't get to experience that because they come to these conventions, they buy what they want, they see the booths, and that's it for them.
Yeah.
Story time. My convention journey started even before me and you started getting invited to these things as special guests. I used to go as a consumer, specifically San Diego Comic-Con every year. I used to go there, buy expensive tickets, and I used to go see all the booths, the Marvel panel, and it's amazing. It's super fun. I get to buy the things I like. But the first time I ever went, the exhibits closed. People are leaving the convention center. And I stumbled upon this random ballroom. And I opened the door, and there was EDM music and strobe lights and maybe like 100 people dressed as fairies dancing. And I knew at that moment that there was more to these conventions than just going and checking out these booths and buying things. And that's why I bring the flavor. Like, when we come, like, to Collecticon, we put down our, like, our work load, and we have fun. We eat with each other. We go party. We, talk Pokemon and nerd out. A lot of people don't get to experience that. So, like, yeah, don't leave the convention right after the convention ends.
Yeah.
Around,
the best part is really just what happens after. I mean, like, during is fantastic. I feel like I'm running around with my head cut off because I'm doing 5 different things at once, and I have a job to do. But like afterwards, it's awesome. It's fantastic going to eat good food with great people, and like it's not like it doesn't feel cliquey at all. That's one thing. I know a lot of people feel like there's clicks involved. I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like, I've had people, like, a great example is Skyrush Gaming, Austin. My first time meeting him was in Houston at Collecticon, and he's like, "Hey, Shiv, can I, like, come eat with you guys?" I said, "Sure," Or another great example is Grab Chew, Grant. At that time, he had
Love
never
that guy.
Grant had never shown himself on like social media at that full capacity, and he didn't really know anyone there, and that's like one thing. A lot of people on social media don't really show themselves, and so
Mhm.
when we would go to these events, my first time meeting him was like, "Hey, Shiv, can I come eat with you?" We did. Like he came along with us. Like that's like I said, that's where the Pokemon community as it is what it truly is. It's fully accepting where it's at. And Danny said, "You got to stick around for the Hot Mess Express. You got to get on that train. You gotta
Oh yeah,
you gotta get on that train because it's a fun time. It's such a fun
yes.
time when you
Thrill and Danny dance off. Yes, I mean, you guys don't stick around. You guys are gonna miss that. We for
and if you
sure
come
have.
to the next Collecticon, Danny will be participating in the muscle off, the strength show, the gun show. Yeah,
The gun show. Okay,
yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
participating in that. I won't be. I won't be a judge in that. I'll be participating in that.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we'll see. It will happen after the show, so you have to stick around. You have to stick around. You have to watch it afterwards. We'll see.
Big bet. Big bet.
We'll have to
Yes.
have like a very very neutral party judging for
Hi,
sure.
Danny. By the way.
Yeah, we got a lot of people in here. We got Basic Trainer. Shout out to Basic Trainer, Lucario Forever. Pokey Trainer Jess is in here showing us
Oh
love.
yes.
Yeffy's in here. We have a lot of people in here today. Um, Again, a lot of people who support you and what you do. So,
What
I
do I do? I don't know. You tell me.
hey, I
I
mean,
mean,
you're known as a diva, man.
I mean, I think that's just gonna be what it is. It's gonna be diva because I have a lot of like family and like friends like from my past ask me, "What do you do now?" I'm like, honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, same. It's
It
like,
has something to do with Pokemon.
you can't really. It's not like your simple job where it's like you could pretty much describe what you're doing in like 3 words. It's like, yeah, I'm a mechanical engineer. It's like, oh, okay, like
Yeah,
yeah. With what we
I'm
do, you can't really put
real.
it down and just like the word content creator slash influencer, like it doesn't even describe what we really do. It
Yeah,
doesn't
because
there's
yeah,
so much there, like it doesn't really give people an idea of what you do, because it's like, oh, you just make videos on Pokemon. It's like, no, there's much more to that. Like,
yeah.
don't sleep on it. Don't play around on it. Put some respect on the name. um but yeah, I
You
think it's really cool. It's really cool what we do, and it's really cool um to see all that you do.
Yeah, we need to come together, like a lot of us, and just like decide on an official title. So I know what to tell my family.
Yeah,
That's the main
yeah,
thing.
yeah. 100%.
Yes, I'm an internet
100%.
guy. That's
It's
it
like, yeah.
translates to my language. I told my auntie the other week. I make like it translates to I make movies on the internet, which might not sound so great, like if you really think about it, but
If it helps explaining it, then yeah. Like, dude, I
yeah,
tell my parents about what I do, and I have to like explain myself like 5 different times. It's like, what do you do? It's like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this? It's like, I don't know, man. At this point, it's like, I don't know. I'm just doing it. I'm just doing me. Um, but no, we're rounding out. We're getting close to the 1 hour mark. We always like to keep our podcast within an hour. Tell people where people can find you.
Nostalgic Thrill, all one word on Instagram. That's gonna be my main platform. I've been grinding on that platform for about 2 years. So thank you for everybody who follows me. We hit 10K, which is major to me. That's been my goal for the longest time. Starting off from like 2,000 followers, that's a major step right there.
Yeah.
We're gonna be switching over to Twitch very soon. I used to have a show on Instagram Live called Thrillville. I miss doing it so much, and I know a lot of my day one supporters really miss it too. So make sure you guys follow me on Twitch. It's Tokyo Thrill, all one word, on Twitch. Um, Whatnot, obviously, if you want to catch me on my daily grind doing my thing, you'll catch me there. It's always a vibe still. A lot of the Whatnot streamers sell, 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 sell. Me is let's have fun, vibe, and if you want to pay me for some things, feel free to. Yeah. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yo Tokyo Thrill is the music in this Instagram, but you'll see it on my link tree on my Nostalgic Thrill Instagram. So it's all there, everything.
For sure. If you could collaborate with anyone.
Ariana Grande.
Okay. Okay. Why Ariana Grande?
No
That was a quick answer.
Um, I mean, if it's like, in the Pokemon realm, like Pokerev followed me back. I'm like that crazy, right?
Huge, yeah.
That's huge. I mean, like I said, any of the OGs, like I was a huge fan of Breaking Nate, Pokerev, Leon Hart. Leon Hart, notice me one of these days. We've been around each other enough. I'm the guy with the face tats.
It might happen in Dallas. You never know, man.
Yes. I don't need to follow. I just need you to look me in the eye and just like recognize me. Like, hey, it's that guy. He's everywhere. But other than that, I mean, like, I just love. I mean, to this day, I answer DMs to people that I don't even follow back, which I eventually will, do. I collaborate with everybody, to the smaller accounts, to like we've done collaborations. Danny has been in some of my videos.
Yep.
There's no specific person that I really want to collab with. I'm just open to vibing with energy. That's it.
Yeah, I think that kind of brings us onto like a really quick, interesting topic, right? Like, just because someone doesn't follow you doesn't necessarily mean they don't like you. It like the follow button is such a weird social construct. It's like, I talked to Rhyme Style every day for a straight year before he followed me, but I didn't let that affect me. It was one of those things where it's like, we fuck with each other. Excuse my French, but like we like what we do. We like each other's content. Like, I like who he is as a collector and as a person. And it's the same thing with everyone else. And, to kind of go on another tangent, it comes down to it doesn't matter what the following is. It's all about value, right? What, like, if it's someone who is smaller than you, like I'm in the public eye a lot more than like this other person, but I like to know what I can get from you because this is what I can provide to you. And it's all about value, whether it's like even just the vibes, that's value right there. Even the energy, just upbeat energy is such a huge thing. That is so much, that's so important in terms of value. If you have that right kind of energy, every person will want to work with you.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, and sometimes it just slips through the cracks, to be honest. I get so many DMs, in my requests and all that. But a lot of the times when I do go through my requests, when I do, I have thousands in there.
Yeah.
And if I respond back, you're going to get a follow. I mean, you might not get it right away when you follow me because a lot of stuff does slip through the cracks. But any type of relationship, whether it's business or whether it's on social media, it has to be mutually beneficial. And me, it doesn't take much to impress me. It's just
he's an easy to please person. Okay.
I'm exactly. Just if you ask how my day is, follow back. So but if you're a random account, I don't know your face, and you have 2 followers, I mean, that doesn't mean you don't have value. That just means I don't know you yet, or But vibe with me, DM me. I chat with people, and like if you go like, "Yo, Thrill, I love your stuff. Like, you're a vibe." I'm like, "Yo, thank you. You're a vibe." Follow back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but sometimes if it's just a ghost account and it's not active, like I might not follow back. So don't get hurt.
Of course.
I love the support. I appreciate the support.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really, really big thing. We got Brown Eyes' dog talking back.
Yeah, Mimi.
Saying wrap it up. That's what Mimi's saying.
Right. Playing this out.
But yeah, guys, I think that kind of ends this on a really, really good note. It's really cool to see how far you've come in 2 years. It's really cool to see your growth, and again, everyone here wishes you nothing but the best. We're gonna keep rooting for you. We're gonna see you hit all these milestones, and we hope to see you again on the next Poke Tea Time podcast very soon. For those guys who are still watching, we're gonna take a brief break to talk about our sponsors. This is a long-winded response, so strap in. Our first sponsor is TCG Stadium. TCG Stadium is an online card shop based in Nashville, Tennessee. They have numerous amounts of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon product. Definitely go visit their website at tcgstadium.com. Next up is the Pokemon Network, aka Ken Lee. The guy who runs around with the Charizard onesie with his son in a Charizard onesie. This guy is like a complete character. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. Make sure you join his Facebook page. That's the biggest thing. He has pretty much every card available when it comes to Pokemon, whether it's the cheapest thing down to the most expensive card there is, or he'll help you find it. Our other sponsor is Double Infinity Gaming. Will and Julie are there to take care of you. They're a online card shop based in Florida. They're pretty much going at almost every single SGC con there is. Really, really good people. Definitely follow them on Instagram. And then finally, our unofficial sponsor is Collector. The Collector app is the most advanced collectibles-based portfolio application there is. It has numerous amounts of TCGs, Funkos, as well as basketball products. So make sure you download the Collector app today. It's free. Costs 0 cents, $0. But back to it, make sure you follow Nostalgic Thrill on all social media platforms. Make sure you follow Tokyo Thrill on all social media platforms. And make sure you show him love there. Really, really nice guy. If you see him in public, don't be shy. Definitely say hi, hello to him. Have a dance off with him. If you see myself, say hi, hello. I'd be more than happy to talk to you, eat with you, do whatever, and just have a good time. But on that note, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps. And if you're listening to us with your ear holes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, make sure you give us a 5-star review. We appreciate it a lot. And if you like this podcast, make sure you share it on your socials. I think we Thrill would like to see a screenshot of this podcast right now on everyone's social media platforms.
You know how I rock.
Yeah, 100%. But on that note, Thrill, I don't know if you know how we close out on the podcast, but we always do this thing. It's kind of cringe, but not really. You got to get your imaginary teacup with your pinky out. You sip up, you peace out, and then you salute out.
Okay,
got it?
Let's do it.
All right, on 3. Sips up, deuces, and we're out. See you guys on the next podcast on next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have Dan, a.k.a. Catch 'em All Collectibles, joining us. It's going to be a really solid podcast. It's also Old School Pokemon's partner. Make sure you join us on the next one. And I actually have my biggest passion project as far as content goes coming out Thursday, hopefully Thursday. And it's going to be really cool. It's going to be super positive, and I hope you guys really do enjoy it. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.